Am I the a-hole for not inviting my sibling to my wedding after they called my wife ugly? So, this is a bit of a mess, and I'm honestly torn about whether or not I handled it the best way, but I feel like I need to explain my side and get some outside opinions. For some context, I, 28M, recently got married to my wife, 26F, who I'll call Sarah. We've been together for about 5 years, and things have been really great between us. Sarah is honestly my perfect match. She's kind, funny, smart, and beautiful in my eyes. She's got this energy about her that lights up a room, and everyone who meets her loves her, including my friends and family, aside from my sibling, but I'll get to that. I come from a big family, and I'm really close to most of them, except for my sibling, 30F, who I'll call Emma. To put it bluntly, Emma and I have never really gotten along. She's always been very opinionated, and she has a habit of making hurtful comments. But even so, I've always tried to make things work with her because she's family, and family is important, right? Well, things took a serious turn when Sarah and I got engaged. Sarah and I decided to have a relatively small wedding, around 80 guests, mostly close family and friends. I assumed Emma would be happy for me, even though I knew she wasn't the biggest fan of Sarah. That's been a weird dynamic since the beginning of our relationship. Emma would make subtle jabs at Sarah, like calling her too nice or too pretty for you, and I'd always just brush it off. I figured it was sibling stuff, but it didn't sit well with me. Then, about a month before the wedding, things took a turn for the worse. Emma and I were having a casual conversation at a family gathering, and out of nowhere, she looks at Sarah, who was sitting next to me, and says, "I don't know what you see in her. She's not even that pretty. She looks a little rough, to be honest." I froze. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Emma had said a lot of hurtful things before, but this was beyond the pale. I'm not the type to back down in a confrontation, so I immediately defended Sarah, telling Emma that she was being rude and that she needed to apologize. Emma, however, doubled down and said, "No, I'm just being honest. She's not my type, and I don't think she's good enough for you." At this point, Sarah was visibly upset, and I could tell that the hurt on her face made it even worse for me. I told Emma to leave and that she was no longer welcome at the wedding. I was furious. I know I should have handled it better, maybe pulled her aside to talk in private, but I just couldn't calm down in that moment. I told her that I wouldn't have someone who disrespected my wife at my wedding, someone I loved and chose to spend my life with. Emma didn't even try to apologize or backtrack. She just stormed off, saying I was overreacting, and that family is supposed to take the bad with the good. After that incident, I called my parents to explain what happened, and they were less than supportive. They basically told me I was being too harsh, and that Emma is just blunt, and didn't mean it like that. They kept insisting I should just let it go, because she's family, and it's not worth losing a relationship over. They even suggested I should just get over it for the sake of the wedding. They weren't even willing to back me up on this. At that point, I was honestly done with trying to explain. I was tired of being told to sweep things under the rug to avoid conflict. I stuck to my decision not to invite Emma. The wedding went on without her, and to be honest, it was one of the happiest days of my life. Sarah and I got married, surrounded by supportive friends and family, and the love in the room was undeniable. We had a fantastic time. However, after the wedding, Emma reached out and texted me, saying that I was an awful brother, and that I ruined the family dynamic by not inviting her. She claimed I disrespected her by not letting her be at the wedding. I told her she had made her own bed and that it wasn't about family dynamics, it was about respecting me and my wife. Since then, I haven't heard from her much, and honestly, I've been fine with that. My parents are still upset, and my mom has sent me several long texts about how family is everything, and that I should try to reconcile with Emma. But I feel like I took the right step, and I'm standing by it. But here's the thing, I know I was harsh. I didn't give Emma a chance to apologize or cool down, and I didn't consider the potential fallout. I acted impulsively because I was angry, and while I don't regret standing up for Sarah, I do wonder if I could have handled it differently. I'm just having a hard time reconciling the fact that my parents and extended family are still angry with me over this. So, am I the a-hole for not inviting my sibling to my wedding after they called my wife ugly? Or did I go too far by cutting her off without offering a second chance? Am I the a-hole for keeping my lottery win a secret from my family and moving away? So, this is going to be a bit of a long one, but I need to know if I'm being unreasonable here, or if I actually did the right thing by keeping my lottery win a secret from my family. For some background, I, 30M, come from a pretty average working-class family. My parents, 55F and 56M, have always been hardworking, but they struggle to make ends meet. Growing up, I never had a lot of things handed to me. I worked part-time jobs throughout school, and when I graduated, I worked at a tech company where I slowly worked my way up. My sister, 27F, also struggles with finances, often asking me for help with bills or her rent. My extended family is similar, everyone's just trying to get by. Now, here's where it gets tricky. A few months ago, I won a substantial amount of money in the lottery. Like, life-changing money. I'm talking several $1,000,000. I kept the news to myself, though, and I'm sure a lot of people will think that's selfish. But hear me out, when I initially won, I was in shock, and I didn't want to immediately start telling people. I had a lot of emotions going on, and I didn't want to make any rash decisions. I knew that if I told my family, they'd expect me to help them. And that's exactly what happened. My family, despite their best intentions, has always relied on me. They know I have a steady job, and they sometimes ask for money or small loans here and there. Over the years, I've helped them when I could. I paid for my sister's college tuition when she couldn't afford it, I've covered some bills for my parents when they were in a tight spot, and I've always been the go-to person when anyone needed help. But after I won the lottery, I started thinking. If I gave them money, how would they treat me? Would they expect more and more? I didn't want to lose my financial independence or feel like I owed anyone anything just because I was lucky enough to win. And honestly, I didn't want them to start treating me differently just because of the money. So, I decided to keep it a secret for a while. I didn't tell anyone about the win, not even my girlfriend, now fiancée. I just needed time to figure things out. I took the money, hired a financial advisor, and moved away. I found a small town in a completely different state, bought a house, and started a new life for myself. It felt good to have control over my future and not feel like I was constantly being asked for favors or financial help. I started traveling a lot, enjoying the freedom, and investing in things that made me happy. I made the decision not to tell anyone about the move, I just wanted a fresh start. The problem started a few weeks ago when I went back to visit some old friends in my hometown. Word got out that I was living in this new place, and it didn't take long for my family to find out. At first, they were happy for me, until they found out about the lottery win. And, well, things got ugly fast. My mom called me up, furious. She said she couldn't believe I'd kept such an important secret from her, and that I was being selfish by not telling the family. She told me that family is supposed to support each other, and that she felt like I had turned my back on them. My dad was upset too but took a more passive approach, saying I should have at least helped out a bit with some of the family's bills or put the money to good use by supporting people who helped me grow up. Then my sister called. She was pretty hurt too, saying that if I really cared about her, I'd have at least given her a little help. She's still struggling with rent and can't afford some of the basics, and she said she felt betrayed that I didn't step in to help when I had the means to. I've been getting non-stop messages from them, and now they're all trying to make me feel guilty for not sharing the wealth. They say I should have given back to the people who helped raise me, even if I didn't want to give everyone a huge chunk. And I get it, I know I've had the opportunity to help them in ways that could have changed their lives, but I just didn't feel like it was my responsibility to carry them financially. I've tried to explain that I wanted to make my own decisions, live my own life, and not have the pressure of family obligations weighing on me. But now they're all telling me that I've abandoned them and that they feel like they don't even know who I am anymore. The whole situation has gotten a bit ugly, and I don't know how to handle it. So here's my dilemma: am I the a-hole for keeping my lottery win a secret and moving away without helping my family out financially? I know I've been a bit distant, but was I wrong to prioritize my own happiness and independence, especially when I know they would have expected a lot from me? Or am I just being a selfish person who's hiding behind the excuse of wanting to be free?